Hey everybody, this is Blue. I have been watching a lot of online about people having difficulties leaving the Abrahamic religions worldwide. In the United States, it's mostly leaving Christianity. We have a lot of families that make it difficult. The goal of this video is not to convert you to paganism, which is my religion. My purpose here is to help you think about what you're doing, how to handle the situation if you are not happy in the Abrahamic religions. Okay. Pagans do not convert. Okay, that's the first thing you need to remember. So this is not to convert you. This is to open a dialogue with you. All right. So the first thing you got to realize is that you're not alone. In the United States, 80% of the people believe in an Abrahamic type religion. We are talking about being Jewish, Christian, or Muslim. Now, those three religions have little subsections and cults and that in there, but they're all considered Abrahamic, which means that 20% of the rest of the population follows some other belief system or has no belief system. So that number is increasing. Christianity and the Abrahamic religions are on a downfall because of the way they treat people and the world around them. So if you feel uncomfortable being a Christian, it's all right. You're not alone. And that is the main reason here. You're not alone. All right. Now I have my talking points here, and we're going to kind of go through them a little bit here. What else is there? Okay. Well, if you're not happy being a Christian, a Muslim, or a Jew, there are atheists. These are people that do not have a belief system, without theist God belief. And so you can be an atheist, and that's no problem. Now, there's stigma with that. People who claim to be atheists, they get a lot of ridicule as being untrustworthy. And that is a load of crap. I have a lot of atheist friends, and they're good people. I find atheists to be more educated and have a better personality compared to many Christians out there. There's also the anti-theist. Now, these are people that are rebelling against any and all forms of religion. Doesn't matter what it is. They believe that any kind of concept of a God is ludicrous. And so if you are angry with religion, you can be an anti-theist, but I would remember to tone it down a little bit, because a lot of anti-theists are very much angry with the world, and they kind of want to blame God for everything that's going on, and so they're kind of, in some ways, they're kind of hypocritical to their actions. There are Satanists out there. This is not like the Christian Satanists. You see, Christians like to demonize and create Satanists so that they can take all of their problems and blame it on them. They question everything in their zealot form. They will look at every religion out there other than theirs and say that it is satanic. Something that is not promoting God is satanic in their doctrine. So yoga, that nice little stretching, bending craze that we have, that's satanic to Christians. I know, ludicrous, isn't it? There are agnostics. These are people that don't relate to a specific religion, but they are open. Give them proof and they will follow. Don't give them proof, they're just going to stay kind of sitting on the fences. And there's other religions out there as well. Yet Christians still live in fear. We'll get to that one. There are so many religions out there that there is probably something that makes more sense to you. Paganism, these are more earth-based religions. They are trying to live in harmony with nature. So a lot of the supposed tree huggers are more pagan than Christian. There is so much pressure to stay in your Abrahamic religion, because if you are thinking about leaving one of the Abrahamic religions, you have family that is going to ridicule you. This is one of the reasons why I'm doing this video, because I see videos where if somebody's questioning their God concept, the family will ostracize them. And there are people that have been kicked out of their houses, 14-year-olds being kicked out of the home because they're having a problem believing in God. So this family takes a higher value in God than it does in their children. And I think that is so wrong. I mean, that is also one of the reasons why I left Christianity, is because this is how they treat people. Some of the other pressures is the religion itself. There have been many claims and backed up in Islam. There are stances where if you leave Islam, you are to be killed. That's right. You leave Islam and you should be stoned to death. Christians, if you leave them, they're going to ostracize you too. They're going to say, well, if you left Christianity, you were never really a Christian. They have all these stupid standards. I mean, if you leave, you never were. But they want to then ostracize you into the fact that they're going to cut services. They're going to shun you. They are going to treat you like shit. A religion of love and peace is going to treat people outside of their religion like shit. And so this is one of the main reasons why, again, I left Christianity. I just did not want to be like those people. A religion is the sum of its parts. Now, a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but the fact is Christianity is the sum of its parts. What I mean is all of its followers, with all of their core values, is what makes Christianity what it is today. Because religions evolve, and it's not always a good thing. If you think back into the 1700s, Christianity is way different then than it is today because the people changed. So religions change, and it's the sum of their people, their followers. And look at how Christians treat people today. We have Christians that will openly disrupt other religious practices, events, celebrations, like the Satanists. They have a nice temple in Florida, and they were ridiculed and attacked by Christians. Christians actually went to one of their ceremonies to disrupt it. There was a Muslim Pride Day in Texas, and a Christian went up and got on the microphone and said that Texas will never bow to Muslims, God, praise God type crap. Christians will not respect other religions, but then, of course, they play their little victim card, don't they? We are prosecuted because everybody hates Christians. No, we hate Christians because of the way that Christians treat us. If Christians left us pagans alone, we wouldn't have any problems with them. But they want to cause problems for us because they believe that this is the way it is. And that's bullcrap. Leaders. Now, one of the other reasons why I left Christianity was because of the leadership. You have people like Pat Robertson, who will tell you to shun people, that they are supposed to go behind parents' backs and everything. I mean this. Pat Robertson told a grandparents that they were to take their grandkids to a Christian church, even though the parents have spoke against it. That is bullshit. I mean, so Christianity does not respect boundaries. They believe that as long as they are acting out for God, they can do whatever the heck they want. And that's a shame, isn't it? So, and we also have the hypocrisy of the leaders. We all know about Baker, how he was begging for money because he was having mistresses. We have, oh gosh, what's his name? Joel Osteen, who has taken the money from the church and bought himself a nice mansion. And when we had those floods in Texas, he closed down the church. He didn't care about the people. He's all wrapped up in himself. And it is hard to be part of a religion with people like that. We also have the case of Muslim leaders who will do the fatwas, I think I'm pronouncing that right, where they are ordering the death of people, and until that is done, that person has to live out in hiding. Salman Rushdie, he wrote a book that pissed off a lot of Muslims, and he had a death sentence put up against him. He still has it because the imam who placed it against him died. So Salman Rushdie has to live in hiding for the rest of his life. Yeah, a religion of love and peace. Okay, so if you are having doubts about Christianity, well, here you go. Do you want to be a part of religions that go out and kill people, that demand that people be brought to their religion's justice system? Okay, and the actions of its followers. Now, Christianity is the bloodiest religion in the history of man. That's a fact. I know a lot of you are thinking, well, Islam is pretty dangerous. Well, Christianity had a major head start on them. And Christians have done a lot of things in the history of man. You think about this. The Crusades, all 9 of them were Christian battles, or Christian wars, I should say, where they went out and killed people. Okay. The King of France, you know, Friday the 13th is when the King of France ordered the arrest and execution of most of the Knights of Templar. Okay, so why did he do that? Because of religion and money. You know, and isn't it funny how Christianity says that money is the root of all evil, but they want all of it that they can get. So these followers will do a lot of crazy things. We have Christian zealots who will go out and bomb an abortion center because they're saying they're killing to save lives. You know, that's like fucking for virginity, isn't it? But this is what they do. They get so wrapped up into their belief system that they stop thinking in rational manners, and they will go out and cause atrocities. The Oklahoma City bombing was done by a Christian. Okay, a lot of these terrorist attacks that have happened in the United States were not done by Muslims. They were done by Christians, homegrown terrorists, basically. And so we have to remember that Christianity is a volatile religion to be a part of. I have a friend who lives in northern Texas. She went out for a walk, and she's a pagan. And a guy walked up to her and said, "Suffer not a witch to live," and hit her. And he says if there wasn't witnesses, he would have killed her. This is what Christianity is, and this is why we need to walk away from it. And if you're having problems with Christianity, this could be one of the reasons. So think about that, and maybe it's time to walk away. The dogma of the cults. There is some crazy stuff in their religious books. In the Old Testament, Moses raised up a camp of people and slaughtered all those who did not follow him. Okay, religion of love and peace. Okay, but there's so much dogma in there where how they treat people. You can see some biblical verses that tell a woman to be silent, that she is somehow lesser than a man when she's not. But this is how Christianity views it. Islam is even worse in modern days compared to Christianity, because Christianity had to turn it back a little bit. But still, there are times where a Muslim man can beat the heck out of his wife if she burns supper. He could take a switch, he could take a watch, not watch, a rock, and he can hit her with the rock and all that. But it has to be a certain size and all that. He can starve his wife into submission. He can rape her anytime they want to. Dogma also talks about child marriages. Muhammad had Aisha, and she was 9 years old when he married her. 9 years old. And this is all right, because like in Iran, you can still marry a 9-year-old because they say it's part of their religious views. Isn't that disgusting? The Amish, who also follow a version of Christianity, they have 14-year-old marriages. The Mormons, they've had child marriages as well. This is disgusting. And how can you be a part of a religion, support a religion that talks like this, that has the views that because this little girl here is cute and she's 14 years old, she can get married to a 60-year-old. And in the Amish religion, that happens a lot. And that is why it is so damn disgusting. The way the religions treat non-believers is also terrible. Now, if you're thinking about believing in Abrahamic religion, you will be facing some of this. For non-believers, especially around Christians, they like to treat you like you are confused and lost because you're not following the ways of God and Jesus. You're somehow lost. You could have everything going for you, but they're still going to look down at you like a second-class citizen as you are lost and confused. And that's bullshit. Muslims will treat you like an infidel, and in some cases you can be killed for leaving Christianity, for leaving Islam, and for being disrespectful to Islam. They have the right to kill you. Okay. In Saudi Arabia, you can be flogged for showing any support of any religion other than Islam. And this is the harshness, the brutality of the Abrahamic religions. So if you leave these bloody religions, you can be ostracized and treated like second-class citizens because in their eyes, because they are acting for their God, they can do whatever they want to you. How it treats genders. Now, as I stated not too long ago, in the Abrahamic religions, women are treated as second class. They are treated actually as property. If I remember right, in Islam, a woman is worth like 4 cows. That's it. In Christianity, a man who rapes a woman can then buy her. I mean, isn't that just downright filthy? In the Mormon religions, especially in some of their cults, giving away a bride, your child, and all that can be viewed as a business action. You know, hey, Bill will give you my daughter here for whatever, and they will agree upon it. And so this girl who has no say in the matter whatsoever is forced to marry an older man because she is a female, she is somewhat lesser in their belief system. Women are treated very poorly in the Abrahamic religions. Okay. Now, how they force their values is an atrocity as well. Because they will use force. As I said, they will bomb abortion clinics. They have destroyed many other religious sites and all that because they have tried to destroy the Baphomet statue. And if somebody does anything to their religions, they are being prosecuted. The double standard of Christianity, which is also a major point right here. Um, the Abrahamic religions have a hard time following their own rules. So if you have any type of ethics, you're going to find the Abrahamic religions hard to stay in. I already talked about how religions destroy families. Again, this is where the father is the absolute ruler of that household, and the wife and children have to follow whatever he says. There is a Bible verse where if a woman has a question about a belief, she is to wait to get home and then ask her husband. She cannot ask her question in public. And this is one of the reasons why paganism is growing so fast, is because we have a lot of people who are sick and tired of the male-dominated Abrahamic religions and how they impose themselves on others. So this is something I want you to consider if you're thinking about leaving those religions, because if you are not the male leader of the house, you are nobody. You are second class. And that is so freaking wrong. Okay? And I have said this a couple times also, religion of peace. The Abrahamic religions want to tell you that they are a religion of peace. They do not want to kill people, but they have no problem of doing it. I mentioned the Crusades, yes, but they will go around today and they are still trying to enforce their religions. In Africa, they are still having witch trials. There was a story 2 weeks ago of a girl, I believe she was 11 years old, and she was burned alive because they believed she was a witch. How peaceful is that? It's not. And anybody that can condone this type of action, I have some serious questions with. Another problem is that they want to have this worldwide control. Christians and the Abrahamic religions as a whole, they want to go out and convert people. They are told to go out. This is why we have so much bloodshed in the world, because the Muslims and the Christians are in competition with each other for world domination. And this is why paganism is so appealing to a lot of people, and other religions are appealing to so many people, because we do not try to convert the world. We're just trying to make our corner of the world a happier, better place. And that's the fact. So if you are having problems with the hostilities of your religion, you're not alone. There are many people out here that are sick of it too. We want peace. We want to build a better world, but we have Christians that take anything and everything and say it is satanic, it is against God, and thus they will do everything in their power to block it. And that's not right. Now, the final thing I want to tell you is my story. I used to be a Christian for most of my life. I have been a pagan now for about 16 years. What happened for me is I had been having a lot of emptiness in my life because Christianity was not filling in. I had so many questions, so many doubts. I would read the Bible and I'm finding contradictions to it, and it was making me upset. I got lucky. I went online, I entered a Yahoo chat room, good old religion room number 4. And in that room, there was a bunch of atheists, agnostics, pagans, and we talked about religion. And we engaged in people that were trying to convert others. So we had a lot of Christians going out there and telling us that we're wrong, we're going to hell, we're a whole bunch of Satanists and all that. And we're trying to prove God. Prove this point, prove that point. You bring a Bible verse into our story, then fine, prove it. Because we were able to find Bible verses that were going against whatever he said. Then you have the Muslims who do the same thing, and we tell them, well, it says that the world sits on 4 pillars. Where are the pillars? And how can the world sit on the pillars when the world moves? Okay. So I was doing all that, and I met a couple of people online who were pagan, and I joined a couple of pagan groups, and I was starting to learn so much, and it seemed right. There seemed to be more understanding and compassion in the pagan practices that I was researching and reading. Also at this time, I was reading the history of Europe and how Christianity was forcefully converting people over to Christianity. Just a second. In fact, Charlemagne was going through Saxon villages and demanding that they convert to Christianity. And if they refused, he wiped out whole villages. Christians actively participating in genocide. That's what Christians do. Adolf Hitler, whether you believe it or not, was a Christian. Okay? He was an avid Catholic, and that's why the Vatican was not sacked or attacked when Germany took over Italy. Okay? Because Adolf Hitler was a Catholic. Okay? Anyway, so I was doing all this research, and man, I was getting really angry with Christianity because I could not see one good virtue of Christianity. I mean, I'm seeing the ministers causing a hate out there. They are shunning people. They are criticizing people. There are just unimaginable amounts of hate coming from the Christian groupings. I'm seeing Muslims being hateful, and I just didn't want to be a part of it. And so one day I went out to my favorite nature park. I was going for a walk because I needed to think this through. And so I was going on how Christianity just seems to be so negative, but a lot of the pagans were talking about being individuals and being happy and building a better world. And so I just was going through this in my head and enjoying nature. I'm watching the birds and listening to the music of the birds and the winds and all that. I was happy. And so as I was walking down this trail, it just felt right. And so right there to myself, I denounced Christianity, and I devoted myself to following a pagan path. Now, you don't have to follow a pagan path if you are not happy with Christianity, okay? You get to follow what feels good to you. Remember that, okay? But from that moment on, there was like this burden lifted off of me because I was no longer bound by the rules of Christianity. I could walk away from all the people that were telling me this Bible verse and that Bible verse and all that. I was free, I was independent, and life was better for me. Okay? So this is what you have to do if you're thinking about believing about the Abrahamic religions. And that is, think about it. View how it's going to affect your life. Some of you are going to have a hard time doing that because you live in a house ran by a zealot, and any sidetrack against God is going to be viewed as satanic, and you could be kicked out of the house and no family member could help you. Okay, if that happens, you can follow your beliefs, your new beliefs, but you have to be careful. I have a few friends online that basically are pagan, and they keep all their pagan stuff in a shoebox and keep it underneath their bed because they have to hide it, because if their mother ever saw it, she would freak out. Okay? Something for you to consider. But my life has been much better since I have left Christianity. You are not alone. There are thousands upon millions of us that have left Christianity and have had a better life. And you can do it too. So this is Blue. Take care. Be at peace.